Another advantage of a short finish is that the radius remains constant. If you try to just keep your arms straight through the swing, then you'll also have straight arms at the impact position, and if you have straight arms, then your head can really stay as still as possible. Today, we're going to be talking all about the incredible benefits of utilizing a short finish in your golf swing. And yes, I really want to mention right at the very start of this video that this technique also works perfectly well with the driver too. It is a game changer for consistency. What actually is a short finish? What do I mean by the topic of a short finish? Quite simple. It's very, very important to me that you try to move your arms long toward the target in the follow-through, and it's perfectly fine if you end in this position even with the driver. Because if I were to throw a ball to you now, I would probably do it exactly like this. That means I would swing with my arm toward the target. Let's call it swinging for now. I would definitely move the arm toward the target, and in no way would I do that. And most golfers who come to me for training always try to get into this end position because that's what you see all the time on the tour. However, I'm of the opinion that most golfers would perform much better if they just quote-unquote swung toward the target. That means if they would extend their arms long toward the target. Even with the 3-wood, I'm now going to try to do a short finish because this short finish will force me to work more with the large muscles. And the large muscles are much more consistent in terms of the final result than the small ones. By small muscles, I mean when you hit the ball using just your hands and arms. So my task now will be to use my body as a power source. And if I use my body as a power source, the large muscles, then I'll control my club face as well as my swing path much better. And if I control the club face and swing path, then I should also be able to control the ball flight better. Which you can't quite say about that shot, I must say. It was slightly left, it overdrew a bit. Why? Probably because of the slope. But nonetheless, it's a par 5, and I'm lying next to the green with my second shot. And the advantage of a short finish is simply that the consistency is significantly higher. That means I'll just work as much as possible with my body and as little as possible with my arms and hands. When I started playing golf 31 years ago, it was very trendy to do this release where you really rolled your forearms. But by rolling your forearms, you significantly affect your club face, which means you can hardly control the ball's direction anymore. So I'd like to ask you to go out and try to feel that your arms are long and extended and that they stay long and extended throughout the whole swing. Check yourself at the end of the swing and see if your arms are still long and extended. Because if your arms are still long and extended at the end of the swing, you've probably worked with enough rotation, because only if your body turns nicely toward the target, in sync with your arms, will you be able to keep your arms long and extended. This means in turn that next time you go to the driving range, please make a video and then check at the end of the day, the training day, if you were able to get into this position. Your upper body faces the target, your lower body faces the target, your right heel is as low as possible, and your arms are as long as possible. And in this position, the club is angled, and the club shaft is ideally parallel to your spine. Are you looking for a cool golf cap, or would you just like to support me and my YouTube channel a little bit? Then please click the link at the top right and grab one of these golf caps. Shot 3, a short pitch, and here too, it's very, very important to have a short finish. Because most golf students who come to me have a short backswing when chipping and then accelerate the club through the ball, which is really bad. I would much prefer it if you at least felt like you were decelerating the club. That means you take a long enough backswing and go through very comfortably as slowly as possible. But the task is to have as short a finish as possible, even in the short game, regardless of whether it's chipping, pitching, or even putting. A short finish should and must absolutely be your goal in the short game as well. And so that, as mentioned, the finish can be short. You need a backswing that is long enough. And yeah, that's not a bad birdie chance. And there's the birdie on the first hole. Today isn't about how many birdies I play. Today is all about a short finish and what the benefits of a short finish are. Another benefit of a short finish is that the radius remains constant. If you try to just keep your arms straight during the downswing, then you'll also have straight arms at the impact position. And if you have straight arms, then your head can really stay as still as possible. Because most golfers compensate for bent arms by dipping their upper body, or in other words, the head goes down, and that's exactly what needs to be avoided. The goal must always be for your head to work as quietly as possible, and that will be especially easy for you if you work with a short finish. That means if your arms really stay long. Another advantage of the short finish, in turn, is that through the adduction and abduction of the left arm, by bringing the left arm in and pushing it away, an enormous amount of clubhead speed can be generated. As a small example, if my body stays completely still, but I press my left arm in and push it away again, then the club can become incredibly fast. I hope you could see it somewhat and maybe even hear it a bit from the acoustics that the club shaft accelerated in that case. And you do that purely through the adduction and abduction of the left arm by bringing the left arm in and pushing it away. And all of that, again, is particularly easy for you through a short finish. And that's exactly what I want to demonstrate now on this par 3. I have a pitching wedge in my hand, and that should be enough for 130 meters or 135 yards or 140 yards. Yeah, that one might even be a bit long. And one last but at the same time not insignificant advantage of this short finish is simply that the risk of injury decreases significantly. Because most students who come to me who might be a bit older usually have problems with their shoulders. And especially these lifting movements usually cause problems. And from my point of view, you don't really need this lifting motion in the golf swing. Because if you are able to work with this short finish to play, then your arms stay down, your arms stay fixed to your upper body, and you don't lift the club up. Because lifting, as already mentioned, can lead to pain. And I definitely want to, and this is the top priority, ensure that all my players can play golf injury-free and for as long as possible. That means it's no exception, and in this case, greetings go out to dear Adi that you can still play golf at almost 90 years old, still play good golf. Because dear Adi really plays a solid 18 handicap. That means he probably plays an average of 90 strokes. And I find that really, really remarkable at this age. And that's why it's important to leave the hands, the arms as passive as possible. That means in the future, you make sure that you play with a short finish in order to play golf more consistently. So, and now I'll see if I can still make a birdie. No, ladies and gentlemen, because as most already know, a putt that's too short never finds its way into the hole. And in this sense, I would like to conclude by thanking you very much for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and click on the bell right next to it so you don't miss any of my golf videos in the future. And please don't forget to practice putting, because as you can see, putting is a very important thing. And above all, you should always, and I've said this hundreds of times but haven't learned, mark your ball, align it, clean it, and only then play. Yes, and I can guarantee you it will happen to me another 100 times that I miss such putts. Goodbye, see you later.